Hello. What ails you? For the love of money. Remember, I speak in song lyrics, movie quotes, and sarcasm. Healthy, unhealthy. Both are expensive. So I have a family history of diabetes, and yes, people's like, oh no, you shouldn't claim that, whatever. I'm stating the fact. I'm stating it's a fact, not necessarily claiming it. Stating a fact. My grandfather had it. My dad had it. Therefore, it's a genetic history. So, I have a human predisposition. And so, even though throughout all my fitness journey, I was still predisposed to it. At the height of my healthy, I was still predisposed to it. Now, I'm a firm believer you can have a little bit of extra fat, not necessarily be unhealthy. When I go to my PCP, I only use him for my health rewards. And he knows, don't pull that chart out for me, because that chart is not indicative of my health. My height in comparison to my weight is not indicative of whether or not I am a healthy person. Numbers don't lie. And if you look at your numbers, there's only one number that's out of sorts, my A1C. Even when I was at a lower weight. And so I met with my hormone specialist, and she told me about inositol. So of course, down the rabbit hole I went, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm gonna give it a try, because even though my weight has reduced from the last time I saw my primary care in March, my A1C is still the same. My diet has changed, all of that. So it comes down to a matter of me versus genetics. And I tell my dad all the time, he's since passed away, but I said, if you were leaving, you should have just taken it with you. No reason to leave it. Nobody needs it. Nobody needs it. Least of all me. So, but it was interesting, the things that I found out about inositol. And so I do read reviews, and I did read reviews. And so I started with the 30-day. Because again, if you're good, you're good out the gate. Yes, some things take a little bit of time, but if you're good out the gate. So I'll keep you posted. As soon as I get it, I'm going to write it down as to when I started and what I started to notice. But it is very beneficial for women who have PCOS, hormonal imbalance, and or insulin sensitivity, which is what I have. Thank you, Granddad and Dad. So, but I read an article, and I'm not necessarily sure if it's really true or not, but it alluded to the fact that Jennifer Lopez spent roughly $1 million on her health, from sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber to different types of treatments. And I have always been a firm believer that whether you are healthy or unhealthy, it is expensive. People always say, oh, it's not expensive to eat right. It is. It definitely is. It's even more expensive to eat right, in my opinion, when you are eating for one. Because meal prep does not do well in my house. I'm not a big leftovers person, so I'm having to make meals, which doesn't sit right with me. So I am sometimes an under eater. Requires too much effort sometimes. I'm a social eater because that's how I grew up in a social setting where we ate at the table every night. I had breakfast. I had breakfast. My grandfather made me breakfast every morning. I had lunch at school, and then I came home and we sat down and had dinner as a family. So when I'm with my friends or with my family, I do eat more as far as enough. Alone, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Not intentionally starving myself, but the level of effort that it would take for me to make a meal that am I probably going to eat later? I don't know. Hence why I would tell my doctor, stop telling me to cut 1,000 calories. Where would I get it from? Now, do I always eat the best? No. Do I eat the worst? No. Am I eating enough? No. Vicious cycle. But I have been healthy. Not until the majority of this hormone imbalance have I encountered as many issues as I have, and how your body changes, how if you don't have enough water, how your body will tell you. Case in point, I sometimes have my wrist hand will fall asleep or become stiff while I'm sleeping, and it will wake me up. It only happens when I have not had enough water, and my lips become extremely dry, and I don't use Carmax or anything like that. I use honey, propolis. No matter how much I use, I still feel the dryness because I have not been consistent in my water intake. If you pay attention, specifically as you become older. And one of the reasons why I don't go to the doctor for most things because they want to write you a prescription. No, I don't want a prescription unless it's going to eliminate the cause, not just treat the symptom. So over time, I have come to recognize not enough water, and not just plain water. I have been using trace minerals in my water since about 2008, 2009. So it has to be something in the water, not just plain water. Plain water for me does not hydrate. Might quench my thirst, but does not hydrate me. There needs to be something else in it. Electrolytes or something. A little pinch of salt. Something. And so I chuckled at that article because I said, well, if she's really doing that, then us mere regular, because, of course we're not regular, but we're doing great. Anyone who is out here maintaining themselves, sends millions of dollars, high five to you. You are getting it done. Sans Glam Squad, Sans Stylist, Sans Hyperbaric Chamber, and now of course you can get all those things. You can. But on the regular, it's just us. We're out here mending ourselves in whatever way we can that works for us. And so I I've always been proud of that fact for myself, that taking care of myself has never been something that's been on the back burner. When I see people who say, this year I'm putting me first, well, I don't come first. There's an order to life for me. There's Jesus, me, and then there's everybody else. So I've never had that issue. And I would think, were you not before for some reason? And I know it's a touchy subject. People with children will say my kids come first. Even in my pregnancy state, that child wasn't coming first. That child can do nothing for me. Not in its state. It is dependent on, it would have been dependent on me and my then husband. So I need someone that I can depend on. I cannot depend on that child. But that's my way of thinking. Doesn't have to be yours. And yours is not wrong. Yours is what works for you. And see, we can have conversations like that because we are of the age where we understand differences. We're not yucking anyone's yum if we say, oh, I don't like that. It's called having a conversation. So I've been mindful of self-care and never pouring from an empty cup. And I don't like a full plate of anything, food, obligations. I make sure to leave room for me. And if I want to do nothing, I do that because I'm important. I am so important. Might not be important to you, may not be important to, I got told the job, it's like, I'm not important. He was like, oh no, don't say that. I was like, see, you didn't hear what I said. I'm not important here. I'm okay with that. I don't care. Otherwise, I'm important. So shout out to anybody that's maintaining their health in whatever way that it looks like for them. 1 mile, 10 steps, 10,000 miles, 10,000 steps. You all you got, with the exception of the Lord. And if you don't believe in the Lord, then you all you got, right? So when I get that product, I'll let you know and see how it goes. Still got a few days before I hit 7 with the remedy. So can't wait to come back with that update and give you some up close and personal looks at the spots that we talked about and see if it helped me get mended. Have a great day.